What's up, guys? A little bit different podcast today. I'm actually in Chris's chair. Chris has stepped out for this one. I'm here with Trey from CamWood Bats, owner of CamWood Bats. I'm going to talk with him a little bit today about the origin story, just get you some questions, get the people knowing more about CamWood. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you having me on. I'm looking forward to talking about the Kenwoods Story and let your audience hear about it.
So let's just start. Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? Just kind of your story to start, and then we'll get into CamWood.
So I'm from Georgia. I grew up in Georgia, just south of Savannah, in a small town called Hinesville. Not a lot of people know where Hinesville is, so I just tell them Savannah. Most people know Savannah. So, growing up, I loved baseball, played baseball. I was at the beginning, I was kind of the bigger kid, and I was better than a lot of the other ones just because I was bigger than them. But as I started to progress, playing in the youth spot. Once we moved up to the bigger bats and moved into high school is when I really started struggling. I wasn't very good at all. And, that's kind of where this CamWood bat came into play. Because you want me to go into the whole story of how CamWood started?
Yeah, we'll just go into the story of CamWood.
All right. So the CamWood bat here, this is not something that I designed. It's something that my hitting coach designed. And the way it started is he was looking for something to help his son, right? So his son, he wanted to increase his bat speed and he wanted to help with the mechanics. So he actually made this bat on a lathe himself out of a piece of wood, and his son started using it and started seeing good results with it. And just to test to see if, he can get those same results with another player, he just randomly went up to the local high school and wanted to find a player to test it. And he pulled up to the high school, and it just so happened I was the kid in the cage that day. So, I had just came off of a season where I hit 180 my junior year in high school. And as you know, 180 is not very good at all.
180 is not going to cut it.
So I was not going to play college at all, right? And to get no looks. And he pulled me to the side after my cage session one day and said, hey, if you want to learn how to hit, come back tomorrow and I'll teach you how to hit. Because he just wanted me to, use the bat and test it. So
Sure.
I had nothing to lose. So I came back. I had no clue who this guy was, but somebody was willing to help me, right? So I came back the next day and we started working together. And 2 weeks later, I ended up hitting my first high school home run.
That's sick.
I literally, 180. I was a horrible hitter. 2 weeks later, hit my first home run, and 3 short years later, I was a Division I All-American.
That's insane. So
Yep.
What'd you end up hitting your senior year of high school?
My senior year, I hit a little over 300. Yep, and ended up walking on in college.
Where'd you walk on to?
So I went to an NAIA school, Britton Parker, and redshirted there, and then I went to a junior college at South Georgia. It's in Douglas, Georgia, and walked on there, and funny story there is I was like the third string first baseman, and first game of the year, the starting first baseman tore his ACL. So
don't love to hear it, but
yeah,
that's good. That's good for
you.
you.
You have to take advantage of your opportunities.
Exactly.
And the second string first baseman got kicked off the team for drugs, so I was the only one left.
There you go.
Ended up leading the entire team in batting average, all your different offensive categories, was all conference that season, and ended up getting a scholarship to Savannah State, which was a small Division I.
Awesome. So you ended up being an All-American by junior year, you said?
It was my sophomore year of playing.
Sophomore
year.
It
was my junior year in college.
Junior year in college. Okay. So
Correct.
I don't remember if you told me, did you end up getting drafted or signing anywhere
Nope.
after school?
That's the thing is I never got drafted. And to this day, it's I still wonder why. It could have been that I was at a small school or I was just known for hitting. I wasn't very good defensively, and my All-American is as a designated hitter. So that was literally what I was known for, is hitting.
Yeah.
So still to this day, though, I'd like to know.
I don't know why I didn't get drafted either. I couldn't tell you that one. Tell me a little bit. So obviously you didn't start the company.
Correct.
How did you gain control of it? Because you're now the owner. What's kind of the story there?
So out of college, obviously I was upset that I didn't get drafted, and I went and took a job in Arizona, and I had nothing to do with baseball. I didn't watch baseball. I didn't play it. Literally cut it out of my life completely. And then I moved back to the Atlanta area for my other job, and I went to go work in Tennessee to go do a job up there. And I knew my hitting coach lived on the way. So I hadn't talked to him in like 2 or 3 years. So I decided to just reach out to him, say, hey, do you want to go have dinner? And we linked up, and at that dinner, he asked me if I wanted the business. Because at the time, the business wasn't doing much, right? He wasn't marketing it, and neither of his kids wanted it. So he asked me if I wanted it. And of course, I said yes, because I saw what it did for me in my career. I knew that if I told my story, that I could help other players. So that's how it all started.
So it sounds like, and that's an awesome story. It sounds like when you when you took possession of the company, nothing was really coming of it.
Correct.
You know, there wasn't a lot of work being put, which obviously, I mean, sometimes you got something and it's there. What did you do on your side to really draw people to it and, you know, bring light to a CamWood?
So I knew that the product worked. So that wasn't the issue. The problem was going to be getting it out and letting other people know. Because at the time, it was only being used by professional players. So like Tony Gwynn was a big advocate of the CamWood at first. And if you don't know Tony,
you should watch baseball.
I've asked people this question. They don't know who Tony Gwynn is.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Won 8 batting titles throughout his career. So that means 8 times he won, or he led the MLB in batting average. So he knows a thing or two about hitting.
He knows a little bit.
So that's actually who we learned from. Is my hitting coach learned from guys like Tony Gwynn and Rod Carew. But anyway, it was mostly used by professional players. And we had a couple videos from Tony Gwynn talking about the importance of training with this bat. And I just marketed it. You know, I went on the Facebook and YouTube and advertised it. And before you know it, people started using it, started seeing the results, and then word of mouth kind of exploded.
When you advertised it, were your advertisements just kind of talking about it, or were you actually showing how to use the bat in your advertisements? Because I feel like that's obviously, with a training bat, that's a major selling point if people can actually see what you're doing. And
correct. And that's the main thing is, like, at first it was just a video of Tony Gwynn endorsing it, because whenever Tony was at San Diego State, he used it with his players. So he knew that it helped. But whenever I took over, okay, like I can't just give you a piece of wood and tell you to go hit and you see the results. I need to show you exactly how to use it, right? So that's whenever I created the All-American 30-day program. So when you get the bat, we show you exactly how to use it and how to see those results. And if you follow that simple plan, that's whenever the results are going to skyrocket. And that's exactly what happened. So starting out, we gave that plan out to everybody when they bought the bat. And then as it, you know, word of mouth started spreading, the results started going, we started charging for it.
That's incredible. That's awesome. So obviously we can't really swing a bat in here, but like as best as you can describe it, what is, because I've never actually seen the method of training with it. What is are there multiple training methods with this one bat, or is there just one specific?
So the funny thing is, and you know, if you see my marketing right now, it's all about bat speed and power, because everybody wants to increase their bat speed, but that's really not what this bat was made for. This bat was made to teach you the proper mechanics of how to stay inside the ball. So whenever you start your swing, this added weight right above the hands is going to promote driving your hands to the ball, which is going to create that proper bat path. Sorry, I can't really show that right here. Yeah. But the weight above the hands is going to help you create that proper bat path of staying inside the ball, okay? And then as you use the bat, it is a heavier bat. So this right here is a plus 12. So 33 inches, 45 ounces.
That's insane.
Which sounds heavy.
It sounds incredibly heavy.
But the added weight is right above the hands, so it swings like your normal game bat.
Okay.
My personal CamWood was 64 ounces. It was 34 inch, 64 ounce, and I could hit or put a ball on the tee and hit a home run with it. And that's just because of where the weight is placed.
The weight distribution of it?
It flows just like normal. Whenever players train with the bat, they see the improvement in the mechanics, obviously, which is what we want, but they're going to also see a massive increase in bat speed and power. So whenever we did our test, the people that followed the 30-day program, if they've never used this bat before, saw an increase of 8.8 miles an hour in 30 days on their ball exit speed increases, which is insane.
That's incredible.
So I had a parent one time come up to me, and he wanted his son to gain 3 miles an hour in 3 months in ball exit speed. And I was like, you know, what are you doing, right? What are you doing to try to see that increase? They're going to the gym, they're pulling sleds, they're doing all this other stuff. I'm like, dude, if you just swung this for 30 days, I promise you'll get there. He increased 10 miles an hour, 30 days.
That's insane.
Yep.
The fact that training, I don't know why not, like, everybody doesn't have this bat.
I mean, it's out there now. But.
Yeah, it's out there now, but like, I wish I would have had that in high school. I would have actually probably started.
I wish I had this before high school, because I didn't have this till my senior year. So I mean, I wish I had this when I was playing youth ball, because, you know, I might would have gotten drafted if I did, you know.
That's incredible. I mean, the technology behind that with the weight distribution of it. What's going on with the handle there? Because I can tell it kind of looks like, I'm kind of comparing it right now to like your staircase. You got the little railings.
Yeah. So this little piece underneath it is literally just design.
Just design. I mean, it
adds a little bit more weight under the hands, which is good. But the primary effect of this bat is the weight right above the hands, because just like any other normal heavy bat on the market, they're all end loaded. All the weight's down here on the end. So I tell people it's kind of like a sledgehammer. If you hold a sledgehammer from the handle and try to swing it, it's going to feel way too heavy, right? That's because all the weight's on the end of the bat. So that's going to force you to come out around the ball. It's going to break down your mechanics. But with the added weight right above the hands, it balances the bat out to where when I start my swing, this weight is going to drive my hands to the ball. So it's going to create that proper path. So this is actually going to improve your mechanics while also increasing that bat speed and that power.
I'm just sitting here wishing I would have had this in high school.
And there's
or at least would have known about it in high school.
That's the thing. I had someone ask me yesterday, like, what was the science behind making this bat? There was no science. It was literally, I'm going to leave this part like this, and then I'm going to finish the handle out, and I'm going to see what happens.
That was how that happened?
That my hitting coach. So the story of how the very first CamWood bat was made. So my hitting coach, Frank Gregory, the one who created this, his son had a tournament that weekend, a wood bat tournament. And he reached out to a company and said, hey, I need you to make me a couple bats. Well, they couldn't do it because they were busy. So Frank, he's really good at building stuff. He's really good with production and all that. So he said, I'm just going to make it myself. He had a lathe already. So he put a piece of wood on the lathe, and he's running down the bat. And something told him once he got to this part to just stop, skip over it, and finish the handle.
Interesting.
And that was literally how the very first CamWood bat was made. There was no science behind it. It's something he came up with right on the spot as he was making the bat on the lathe.
That's crazy that y'all's product came from just something in his head telling him to stop. He had no idea what he's doing.
No idea.
That's hilarious, but that's awesome to see now where it is. I mean, turned into a whole company where y'all are just getting everybody to swing harder now. So I have a feeling, I don't know for sure, but do you guys have other companies that are starting to jump on the bandwagon of like something like what y'all have?
Yep, 100%. Like I said, whenever you see something successful, other companies are going to come knock you off. So, and that's kind of what you have now. But you know what separates us from those other companies is we actually show you how to use the bat. The other companies, they just give you a piece of wood and tell you to go hit. And yeah, you can see results doing that, but you're not going to get the most results that you could if you followed a program that shows you exactly how to use this bat. Because the program is tailored to using this and showing you how to do it, right?
Yeah.
And now y'all see the same thing, with the batting gloves being so successful, other companies are going to start coming in.
Exactly. We've definitely seen a little bit of it, and it's flattering. Like it's honestly, it's the coolest thing in the world to see these major companies start to, take a little inspiration from you, which is
100%. That just shows you that the product
works.
And
exactly.
It's good. Because if other people are coming and copying you, that's how you know that it's a good product.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right. Well, so all of that is incredible, and I love the story of how it started. I didn't know that, like the part where Frank Gregory, right?
Yep, that was my hitting coach.
He made something just told him to stop. I think is the funniest thing in the world.
Literally,
because I mean, everyone's like, oh, if I've got I got to think of all these ideas. Like he
100%.
literally just happened.
Yep,
which is awesome.
The funny part is that it actually worked.
Yeah, that's the best part is that it worked. All right, I know y'all are currently running a little bit of I guess, could you say a competition a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a little competition, and it's definitely going to be for a limited time. Okay, so because we can't do too many people all at one time, but essentially what we're going to do, especially for your audience, is we want to help them increase their bat speed and power. That's what everybody wants to do, right? And the first thing that people think of when they see this bat is gimmick, right? They're like, I don't know if this is going to work for me, because they've been duped by so many of those other products out there and all the good marketing, and they end up getting it and it doesn't work. So they're scared, they're skeptical. So I was thinking to myself, well, how can I beat that? How can I beat that skepticism? So we're going to have a 10-day bat speed challenge where I will go through step by step. I'm going to do it with you. 10 days, you're going to increase your ball exit speeds at least 3 miles an hour in those 10 days. I can guarantee that. If you've never used this bat before and you do those 10 days, you will see at least 3 miles an hour ball exit speed increase in 3 days. And
it's a crazy thing to guarantee.
100%. But I know, like, I put my reputation and all that, and I can back my product. And that's the main thing is when you do this 10-day bat speed challenge, you need the CamWood Hands and Speed Trainer, right? So limited time, whenever you get the 10-day bat speed challenge and whenever you sign up for our free trial, you're going to get this CamWood Hands and Speed Trainer for free as well.
For free?
For free. 100% free.
I'll be signing up for that.
That's the thing. You're going to get a bat and you're going to get access to the 10-day bat speed challenge, and I'm going to do it with you live for free. But it's only going to be for just probably a couple hundred people. You can't be giving away. We can't do like 1,000 of them right off the rip. So yeah, for a limited time, we're going to do that. And like I said, I'm sure we'll send out the details.
So how are Bruce Bolt customers, how are they going to go about going and getting signed up for that challenge and, getting started with it?
Yeah, so we'll give you guys a link to send out to everybody, and they'll just go to our website and they'll get the free trial to our subscription, and we'll get the Hands and Speed Trainer sent out to them for free. So they just go on the website, there'll be a product for it, which we'll give you the link that sends them straight to it. And like I said, they'll get access to all of our programs and all that and this bat for free. And I'm going to walk you through step by step how to increase your bat speed 3 miles an hour in 10 days.
That's incredible. So with the contest, is the winner just going to be decided who has the most increased bat speed, or is there a certain way of going about it?
So it's obviously it'll be hard to gauge like who increased the most because people are going to lie, honestly. If we don't have a device that can track it, then they're going to fabricate those results.
You need to send everybody hit tracks too.
Exactly.
That get a little too expensive.
Everyone, free hit tracks, 20 grand a pop. But no, so when you do the 10-day bat speed challenge and you see the results and you go through it, we're going to give you some free product on the back end of that as well. So
free product, can you disclose that product? Or you just going to keep that under the radar right now?
So I'll back up. The very first thing that I want is whenever someone gets this product is I want them to see the results fast, right? So the 10-day bat speed challenge is going to show you exactly how to increase that bat speed and power.
Yep.
But when you have bat speed and power, if your mechanics are horrible, what is that going to do for you?
Exactly.
Right? You're still not going to be a good hitter. So what we're going to do is we're going to beef up that bat speed and power first. And then after the 10 days, we're going to get access to the All-American 30-day program, that one that I told you about earlier. And whenever you get the All-American 30-day program, you also need a one-hand trainer. So you would get the one-hand trainer for free on the back end.
Wow.
And then we're going to go straight into the All-American 30-day program at the back end of that. So like I said, once they get the bat speed, now we want to teach them the mechanics, which is going to increase the bat speed and power even more.
It's the more important part of it.
100%. Like I said,
it's exciting.
One of the marketers that I follow say if the thing that you're giving away for free scares you, then it's a good offer, and it scares me. It honestly
I would be a little, but I mean, it's going to be awesome, especially when people see results and then you get the word of mouth going 100%. For anyone who didn't join it.
100%, because that's the thing. The biggest question that we get is, will this work for me? Right? People see it and they're like instantly, like, I don't think that's going to work.
Exactly.
So I want to prove it. So I'm going to give it to you for free, and I'm going to prove to you that the product works.
Yeah, I mean, if you're backing your product like that with that much confidence, I mean,
100%.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited for that. If I was still a legitimate baseball player,
you still do it.
You think I should still do it?
Hey, this is a bonus for everyone here. Bear's gonna do it with us.
I'm gonna do it too.
That's the free bonus that comes with it.
We'll send videos in of me swinging a bat. You can all get a laugh in. So that'll be awesome. I'm excited for that for sure. Obviously, I'll make this training bat. You make the one-handed training bat as well.
Correct.
Are there any others past that?
Yeah, so we actually just got licensed by the MLB, which I don't know if I can say MLB, but
you're fine.
Professionally licensed to make game bats. So we're now in the minor leagues for game bats, and the major leaguers, we have a couple of MLB guys using our bats right now, so that's good.
Can you disclose that information?
Well, one of them was Nick Madrigal with the Cubs, but like I said, Nick played with Wes Helms. Wes Helms is our CEO, and Wes coached Nick whenever he was coming up with the White Sox, so that's how we had that connection. Gotcha. But so like our game bats that we just came out with, most people are maple, right? All the bats you see out there are maple. And the reason for that is because the hardness of maple, the ball comes off a little bit harder. So the harder the bat, the more performance you're going to get out of it when you square it up. But the big knock on maple is the sweet spots are a little bit smaller. But if those MLB guys, if you can hit the ball in the sweet spot, which they can consistently, they're going to see better performance than something like ash. So we came out with European beech. So this is completely different species of wood.
Does anybody else make European beech we know of, like Louisville or Marucci? Anyone?
Nope. We are the only licensed MLB company that can produce the European beech. So the reason we did that is we were a training bat company. I wanted nothing to do with the bat market, right? Because I wanted to stay in my niche of the training bats and just stay in this lane.
No sense in going outside of it.
Correct, because it was working. So my manufacturer called me one day, and he was like, this is by far the best wood I've ever seen, like to make bats. He's been making bats for 20 plus years now, and he just hounded me over and over again. We need to make game bats with this because we're making training bats out of top quality wood.
So your training bats are European beech as well?
Correct. Yep. So the training bats are European beech as well. And the reason for that is because of the characteristics of the wood. So yeah, I had him send me a sample. I was like, okay, I'll test it. So I got the samples in, and I drove to Alabama, and I met with Wes Helms. And Wes is our CEO, and he played 12 years in the major leagues. So he knows a thing or two about wood bats, right? So I wanted him to test them. So we get in the cage. We have maple from all your top companies, and it's from MLB players' bats. So it's their top maple. And I do a ball exit speed test, and our European beech came back 4 miles an hour on average higher than the maple. So when I saw that on the hit tracks that day, I was like, I'm sold. We got to start doing it.
That's incredible.
So like word kind of spread a little bit because Wes has some connections in the business. And, the Padres ran a test. They had their data science did a full test, ours against maple. And they saw an average of 2 mile an hour increase in exit velocities with their pro players. Same thing with the Blue Jays. They did the test and saw an average of 2 miles an hour with their pro players with the European beech.
I feel like once word really gets out about that, I mean, y'all will be running the major leagues at that point.
Well, that's the plan.
That's the
We'll
plan.
see.
I mean, what's the sweet spot look like on that compared to maple? Is it a little bit bigger too?
So it is a little bit bigger. So, and here's why. So a lot of players don't know this. If you take a bat and you hold it in your hands and you just tap up the barrel, the point where you don't feel any vibration is the sweet spot of a bat. Did you know that?
I had no clue, not until 2 seconds ago.
So the sweet spot is where there's no vibration. So one of the characteristics of European beech is there's less vibrations than maple. So if you use a maple bat, you hit one off the end, you're going to feel that sting in your hands. With European beech, the wood characteristic, there's less vibration throughout that wood. So the sweet spot's actually going to be a little bit bigger. So whenever we ran the vibration test on the bats, European beech came back about 2 inches more than the maple on the sweet spot. So a typical maple is around that 2.75 to 3 inch, depending on the model of bat. Ours is right around that 5 inch sweet spot range, which is insane.
No, that's completely insane. That's amazing. I can't believe more people aren't using that.
We just came out with it. Like
how long ago?
We haven't even been doing this for a year yet.
Really?
Yeah, it's only been.
And how many guys do you have pro right now?
We have one guy for sure in the majors, but we have a bunch of minor leaguers.
Bunch of minor league. That's the way to do it.
Well, that's how we're going to get into the market because we're going to get those minor leaguers using it and see the results, and then it'll trickle into the major leagues from there.
And I've found with Bruce Bolt, I mean, getting these guys who have been in the major leagues for a while, like it's hard to take them away from what they know and love. And like I don't blame them. Superstition is a massive thing. 100%. But so if you get into the minors, and then I mean those guys are making their way up with that. They're not going to change.
Yep, exactly.
They're not going to. So, like, I completely agree with that route.
That's the thing. Whenever you're in the major leagues, you're going to do what got you there, right? You are not changing.
I don't see many guys stray away from what they know.
Not at all. It's tough to get them to. So, like, we've had major leaguers test our bat and literally say, this is the best bat I've ever used. But they still go back to what they were using because that's what they're comfortable with.
It's just superstition.
So, there's a little insider information. But, our plan is obviously to get with the back rooms of these minor league organizations. So a player that might not be able to afford the bats, because, minor leaguers don't get paid that much money. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, no, they
have to pay top dollar for a lot of these bats. They're spending half their monthly check on 4 bats. So the players that can't do that, they'll just go to a back room. Right, so each organization will have bats in the back room they can come and pull out of a cubby and use. So we're going to be that backroom bat in a lot of organizations this year. So that's how we're going to get it moving, get people using it, get people talking about it. And I think once they get it and they see those results that I was just talking about, they'll be using it for the rest of their career. I've had multiple players already tell me, like, I'll name drop Judd Fabian. He was the 2nd round pick with the Orioles this past, I guess it was 2 drafts ago. He texted me probably about a month ago saying, I'm CamWood for the rest of my career. He tested all the other bats out there, and the exit velocities that he sees with ours, he said, I'm not switching.
That's awesome. So getting that loyalty early is pretty good.
100%.
And, I mean, if you're going in the back rooms and putting your bats there, I mean, these guys are, 1, going to be appreciative of that, and then 2, they're going to love the brand. I mean, you're not losing them to anyone.
100%.
You've told me so much stuff that I didn't even know. Do you have anything that you wanna touch on, like that I haven't asked you, or?
I think we covered a lot of it.
Yeah, I think
just
so
like
too.
The benefits of the bats, and obviously, I owe my entire career to this bat. I wouldn't even gone to college if it wasn't for this bat. I mean, let's just be honest.
Yeah,
I was hitting 180 before. I wasn't going, so
it was gonna be a little difficult.
100%. So literally, this bat is what I attribute my success to completely. Right. So I got to college and continued to train with it and started seeing the really good results from it. and that's what allowed me to become an All-American. And if I wasn't, if I didn't become an All-American, I didn't play in college, I never would have gotten the opportunity to, to run this business. So I'm very thankful for the day I was in the cage and some random guy walked up behind me and asked me if I'd come back the next day, he'd teach me how to hit, and I came back.
It's all part of the plan. I mean,
never know when the opportunity will come
exactly.
up.
That's the Lord's plan right there. I mean, he put you on this path. That's incredible. I 100%. Mean, the story is awesome. I think CamWood and Bruce Bolt, like, I love the fact that we're partnering to get something going. I mean, I think both stories, a lot of similarities.
Broke some news, man. CamWood Bats and Bruce Bolt partner.
Oh, well, I mean, it was going to come out eventually. They'll hear it first, I guess. Just a little bit of news. I guess that was a little, I didn't even plan on breaking that news. So I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited about this 10-day bat speed challenge.
For sure.
I'll see if my bat speed increases, I guess.
Hey, you can do it. Come on.
I mean, you kind of signed me up without
I'm going to
me.
do it too. That's the thing. I really don't hit. I didn't hit that much whenever, like, just running the business. I don't get in there and hit as often as I should. So I'm actually excited to get in there and actually do this too.
It'll be fun.
I want to get my exit velocity back over 100 off a tee.
I don't know if I ever broke 80.
I'm a bigger kid, so I can get it. I used to could get it up there.
Yeah.
But I've lost a little step or two.
I don't even want to know how much I've lost. Well, on that note, I think everyone's going to enjoy watching this and getting to know more about CamWood. I know I loved it. You told me so much more stuff that I just didn't even know. I'll drop it again. I'm excited for the little partnership that we have coming. I'm excited for the 10-day bat speed challenge. It's going to be fun. I'm just super excited for people to actually see results.
Yeah.
And I love how much you believe in the product because you know it works. I mean, obviously.
I said I wouldn't be backing it the way I am if I didn't think it was going to work.
So I think that right there is testament enough to the product that you believe in it so much. I mean, that you're giving it away for free.
100%.
Which is exactly why y'all should take advantage of the situation and go get a free bat to train for the rest of your life.
What's the worst that can happen?
Exactly. The worst that can happen is it doesn't work, but we all know it's going to work.
That's the thing is I wouldn't be spending the money to send all this stuff out for free if I didn't know that it was going to work.
Exactly.
I'm 100% confident if you follow the 10-day bat speed challenge and use this bat, you're going to see results.
Love it. Well, all right. I thank you guys for watching, Trey. Thank you for making your way to Texas.
Thank you for
all
having
the way
me.
from Florida.
Yeah, first time in Austin, Texas.
Good stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. We'll see you next time on the Bruce Bolt podcast in the Bolt Pen.